Hello everyone, my name is Purva and today I am going to share my insight about the topic mushrooming of pressure groups and their significance in America. Pressure groups are organized associations of individuals with common interests who work to influence public policy, laws, and government decisions. They use methods like lobbying, campaigns, and public opinion to achieve their goals. However, unlike political parties, they don't seek to capture political power or form a government. Their aim is only to affect decision making in their favor. As Almond and Powell stated, by pressure groups, we mean a group of individuals who are linked by particular bounds of concerns or advantages. If we talk about the mushrooming of pressure groups, then this phrase refers to the rapid increase in the number and activity of pressure groups across different countries and political systems. As the role of state expands, it affects more areas of life, so more groups emerge to defend their interests. Societies are becoming more diverse and political parties can't represent every specific demand, so people organize themselves into pressure groups to promote their particular concerns. Pressure groups have existed throughout history, not just in modern times. Earlier, religious bodies, trading companies, and powerful individuals influenced government decisions, often using informal or even corrupt methods like bribery. However, in the last 150 years, their nature has changed significantly. Today, they are larger, more organized, and use formal methods like lobbying. We can see the rapid expansion by the mid-20th century. These groups represent a wide spectrum of interests ranging from powerful organizations like the AFL-CIO and the Business Roundtable to religious bodies like the National Council of Churches. This rapid growth shows that people increasingly relied on pressure groups rather than political parties to express their demands. If we talk about the causes behind the mushrooming, then it is expansion of the state and policy space. As modern governments started working in more areas of life, the number of policies and laws increased. Each new area creates new groups, and these groups organize themselves to protect their interests. Example, expansion of healthcare policy led to American Medical Association. Weakening of political parties. Modern political parties have become catch-all parties. They try to attract as many voters as possible, so they avoid taking strong or specific positions and can't represent specific interest well. Because of this gap, people turn to pressure group. Peter Mayer described this as rule of void. Rise of post-material values. As people's basic needs are met, they begin to care more about quality of life issues. These new concerns led to new types of pressure groups that focus on social justice and rights, like SEVA and ILGA, communications and digital revolution. Nowadays, the internet and social media have made it much easier and faster for people to organize. That led to the emergence of the more pressure groups. Globalization and transnational issues. Many modern problems like climate change, trade, and human trafficking cross national borders. So pressure groups from different countries work together, resulting into the creation of international pressure groups. For example, Amnesty International. Increased education and political awareness. As more people become educated, they better understand politics and government policies and know how to influence decisions, especially the youth, like NSUI and Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad. Judicial expansion and rights culture. As courts have become more powerful through judicial review and protection of rights, people can now challenge government action legally. As a result, we can see the rise of legal advocacy pressure groups like American Civil Liberties Union. If we talk about the significance of pressure groups in US, we can see that in US too, pressure groups act as a link between citizens and government, and they represent people's specific interest. So, first is representation of diverse interests. In a large and diverse country like the US, elected representatives alone cannot represent every group or issue's interest. So, pressure groups give minorities a voice. Linkage between citizens and government. Pressure groups act as a bridge between people and the government in US. They turn general public concerns into clear policy and demands. For examples, AARP and Syria Club, providing information and expertise. Government officials can't know everything, so pressure groups help them by providing specialized knowledge and research. They present views in congressional committee hearing. For example, American Medical Association advises on healthcare issues. Electoral influence. Pressure groups also try to influence election outcomes by supporting candidates who agree with their view through PSCs and super PSCs. Influence within the two-party system. As Harold Lasky noted, in US, Democratic and Republican parties are like block of interest. This means that both parties include different and sometimes competing groups, but no single party fully represents one interest group. Dominance of business group. Pressure groups most directly influence laws through lobbying. In the US, there are around 20,000 lobbyists in Washington, D.C. alone. Litigation and judicial influence. In the US, business interests are highly respected, so groups representing them often have more influence because of the capitalist American culture, like the US Chamber of Commerce. Litigation and judicial influence. In the US, pressure groups also influence the judicial system. They do it by influencing judicial appointments, file cases, and use amicus curiae, friend of the court. Media influence and public awareness. Pressure groups now use media and communication tools to shape public opinion and influence how people and especially decision makers think about issues. The Iron Triangle, a core power structure. The Iron Triangle is a close three-way relationship in US politics between pressure groups, congressional committees, government departments. This three-way relationship means that pressure groups are not just outsiders now, they become deeply involved in decision-making and governance. As in conclusion, we can say that the pressure groups have grown rapidly due to modern social and political changes, becoming a natural feature of pluralist democracy, especially in the US, where they actively influence and participate in governance. Thank you.